The longest-running off-road and action motorsports radio show on the planet is coming to you live with the biggest guest in motorsports. Here is the only man on the planet who can pack this much dirt slinging and tire slaying into 2 hours a week. Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to get your ears blown. Here is Jim Beaver and the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, and we are cranking with your favorite action motorsports radio show. If you're a first-time listener, welcome to the show. If you've been here before, welcome back. Man, we got a fun show today because I got to tell you, motorsports has been cranking the past couple of weeks. We are in that summer stretch where it's like bam, bam, bam. Every single series is just firing on all cylinders, and today's show does not disappoint. Light on the guests because we're heavy on the talk. But we do have our guest for this week, Christopher Polvoorde, just killing it there at ERX in Minnesota. An amazing effort there. He's 4 for 4 in the Midwest Short Course League. Also running Lucas Oil on the West Coast, doing a remarkable job there as well. One of the young up-and-coming talents in the world of off-road. We've got him on the show. We've got my good friend Tiffany Stone. She's going to be calling in as well. Who knows where that conversation will go, but I know she is headed to New England Forest Rally this weekend, so I'm sure she'll chime in a bit on that and everything going to be happening there at NEFR. Not only that, we got Chris Leone here. We're going to dissect our power rankings. I think it's probably going to take up 2 segments today. Going to take up 2 segments because let me tell you, there's been that much motorsports. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to dive into, and it should be a whole lot of fun. If you haven't noticed, we are spreading things out over 3 shows. Obviously, we've had Project Action for a while. I've also got my other show, the 4 Wheel Parts Off-Road Edition, powered by Polaris RZR, all off-road this week. We've got Butch Arciero, Frank Arciero Jr. He is my guest. He is an off-road Hall of Famer going into the Off-Road Hall of Fame this year, and I got to tell you, that interview does not disappoint if you like it, talking old-school off-road. So skip over to the Off-Road Podcast. Check that out. And Project Action's Vicky Golden. Last week, Jason Ellis. Man, we are... just some great guests on that show as well. So, man, we got a lot of content coming at you. Obviously, this show you're tuned into, it's not going to disappoint either. And we're going to dive right into things right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR, when we return right after this break. Want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself, or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or @VisionWheel on social media to learn more. Super ATV is the industry leader in aftermarket UTV and ATV parts and accessories. Super ATV products are designed, engineered, tested, and manufactured right here by Super ATV. Whether you're looking to upgrade your suspension, get stronger axles, or you're looking for a new winch to get you out of a tough spot, Super ATV has what you're looking for. And since we know you're in a hurry, we offer fast, free shipping to the lower 48 states on all orders. Visit superatv.com now and get your UTV or ATV dialed in.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Oh man, that was a hell of a ride. Go check out mymedic.com for the best first aid kits on the planet and save 15% with discount code Jim Beaver. Again, mymedic.com, discount code Jim Beaver, and save 15%. It's cheaper than a feeling.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Just kind of getting things rolling here. I know we're airing this thing a little bit late in the week, and, because of that, we've actually got New England Forest Rally just kicking off. And I'm kind of, I guess these results or this live update being brought to you by our good friends there at Dirtfish Rally School. Check them out on the web, www.dirtfish.com. But speaking of that, I'm just looking through the results. It looks like David Higgins is currently leading through Concord Pond, which, if you guys don't know, there's a crazy big jump there. I remember a couple of years back that was one. What was it? Higgins, Ken Block, Pastrana, Ramana Lagaman. There was a grip load of people. It was like one of the biggest stage rallies that the U.S. has had in recent memory. And I can't remember, but I think it was Ramana. Somebody got taken out on the first stage there at Concord Pond, and it was definitely kind of a bummer. But looking at things, it's all Subaru out front right now there at New England Forest Rally. It's one of my favorite ones on the calendar. David Higgins, Craig Drew out front. Oliver Solberg there in second. Then we got McKenna. And then actually, speaking of, we've got Ramana and Chrissy Beavis there in the fourth spot. Peter Fatella in fifth. Then we got Gil Duplessis. Great to see Chris back behind the wheel of something. Kimmett, Steely, and Donnelly rounding out your top 10. So, just getting things underway there at New England Forest Rally. I'm sure a lot of our listeners are actually there on site at the rally. If you're not, ARA will definitely have you dialed in with I guess as stages happen and updates on their social media. That's where I got that. But Higgins currently leading. Speaking of David Higgins, I know obviously this week on the Off-Road Podcast, I was able to catch up with Butch Arciero, who Ryan Arciero's father. He's been a guest on this show and the Off-Road Podcast quite a few different times. So Butch Arciero, he's going into the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame. Great interview with him, talking about his time with being Ivan Stewart's teammate there at Cal Wells and PPI, teaming with Bob Gordon, his time in the Mickey Thompson Series, where he won all kinds of race wins and championships there for Toyota. Talking about even current era now with trophy trucks and what Ryan Arciero's doing. Just an amazing interview. So, definitely check that one out. But speaking of Butch Arciero and David Higgins, I know Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame had their announcement the end of last week on who is actually going into the Off-Road Hall of Fame. Class of 2019. Obviously, Frank Butch Arciero Jr. Is going in, my guest on the podcast. David Higgins is going in, and obviously, this one's actually really special because, rally, there's only one other rally guy in the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame, and that is John Buffum. If you're a rally guy, you know John Buffum. If you're not a rally guy, you probably still know John Buffum. One of the winningest North American rally drivers of all time, well-deserving being in the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame. Well, this year, David Higgins breaks the mold because he's going in. Second rally driver ever, and I got to tell you, Higgins, if you're listening to this show, you know the guy's accolades. Like, really? Like, we don't even need to discuss it. But how many, championships, race wins he's got here in the States? I mean, he's driven all over the world. Like, this guy is legit. If anybody deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, it is definitely David Higgins. So there's two of the inductees. You got Steve Morris, who is an advocate, help keeping lands open so we can actually, for recreationalists and racers, so we can actually use the lands. Definitely well-deserving there for Steve Morris to be going in. Bobby Farrow, a lot of you guys may not know that name. It's a throwback, to the OGs of Baja. We're talking the beginning years, and this guy just absolutely dominated Baja in the beginning years, and just an amazingly talented driver who thankfully is still with us. Very well deserving. A lot of people are probably wondering why he hasn't been in yet, including me, but great to see Bobby Farrow getting his due and going into the Off-Road Hall of Fame. Lynn Chenoweth going into the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame. And, not a driver, but this is an industry guy. You know the name Chenoweth, right? Obviously they made buggies for years. I mean, you're looking at RZR going into the Hall of Fame. Good chunk of those race wins he took were in Chenoweth buggies. Bob Gordon. I mean, so many drivers got their starts in Chenoweth. I mean, for the longest time it was Chenoweth, Funco, Jimco, were the kind of the big three. But Chenoweth, just an amazing brand back in the day. So many championships. I mean, really changed the sport as a whole as far as buggies go and what to expect. And I think one of the special things about Chenoweth people don't realize, they were definitely involved in the military. Some of those rad military buggies you used to see, those were all Chenoweths. So there's so much to that company, that brand, what they were doing, the way they innovated for the sport of off-road. So great to see Lynn Chenoweth going in. And then finally, a guy who probably a lot of people assumed was already in the Hall of Fame, but he actually wasn't until this year, Mr. Robbie Gordon. So Robbie Gordon. I mean, gosh, do we even need to talk about what he's done for the sport of off-road from a competition standpoint, from an industry standpoint, pioneer, advocate? I mean, Robbie Gordon could probably go in any of the three categories, which is, competition, advocacy, and industry. I think, his innovations and his, the way he's promoted things, I mean, all three, he could go in that direction. So great to see Robbie Gordon getting his due as well. I mean, I'm looking at this class going RZR, Chenoweth, Farrow, Gordon, Higgins, Steve Morris. Man, this is a loaded up class. I know induction ceremony November 3rd in Las Vegas. It's presented by 4 Wheel Parts, our title sponsor over there at the Off-Road Podcast, and a big supporter of this show as well. So, it kicks off SEMA Week on that Sunday evening, and I got to tell you, that is one I am not going to miss. Can't wait. I can't wait to be there, man. This is going to be a great class going into the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame. So ormhoff.org is their website. You can definitely skip over there, check it out, get info on tickets, more info on each of these guys that are going into the Hall of Fame. And we're a big supporter of the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame, big supporter of us. We've done live shows from the Hall of Fame before and things like that. I don't know if we'll be doing one this year or not. I know we got to work through the details, but definitely go and check all that out. And, there's definitely, I don't know, man. I just the last couple of years, it's crazy to look at these class and just know some of the names that aren't in the Hall of Fame quite yet, and now with Higgins going in, I think it opens up that entire rally conversation. And, I think it definitely, there's a lot to be excited about. Off-Road Hall of Fame definitely doing great things. So another note, switching gears a bit, but I don't know if you guys saw, but it sounds like the 28th of this month, our friends at Polaris RZR may have a little something that they're going to be dropping on us. I know teaser picture going out on the Polaris RZR corporate accounts, kind of a black silhouette with these evil, just sinister looking headlights. And, I honestly, I don't know what is coming our way, but I know if Polaris is putting out a teaser like that, something big is definitely going to be coming. Obviously, if you're listening to this show, you're a big UTV fan. Polaris, is a big supporter of me and this show. But, that's got me excited. I know I'm going to be tuned into social media on the 28th. I want to know what's going to drop, what's going to happen. I am excited to see probably what I will be driving and racing in the next year or two. I need to build a new race car, and I'm hoping Polaris, blows my mind with this unit. Whatever it is coming, and I can kind of get plans for a new race car in the process. But new RZR coming. I know speculation's been like, is it going to go wider? Is it going to go lower? What's the horsepower going to be? And obviously, Can-Am's out there. They've done their stuff. I feel like Polaris has sat back, kind of let everybody play their cards. And now they're going to come in and just like, bam, gangbusters, be like, all right, so you guys played all your games. Now we're dropping the real deal. This is what's going on. And I got a feeling that's what's coming. I don't know what it is. I've had a lot of people reach out to me, DM me, Jimmy, to give us a skinny. What's this new RZR? I'm like, man, I don't know. Like, legit, I have no idea what Polaris has up their sleeve. But we will find out the 28th of this month. I know I got a teaser up on my social media. It's floating around. It's on Polaris. I think all of our the Polaris athletes have dropped something. But Polaris does have something big coming the 28th of July. And if you're an off-road fan, if you're a UTV fan, man, that's like Christmas Day all over again. You get to, I know I'm going to be tuned in. I want to see what's going on, what's going to be dropped, and, what we're going to be driving next year. So, yeah, we'll talk about that and more later on here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. We'll be back after this break. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle. Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Like to welcome, which is becoming every week thing, media director for Down and Dirty Show, Chris Leone, to the line, because, Chris, we got our power rankings this week, and it takes two of us to do this, and I don't know. We had a lot of racing, a lot of events. There was just a hell of a lot going on this past weekend, man. I mean, I don't know. I'm just looking down at it. It's like we had everything going on, but I think NHRA basically.
Yeah, there sure was, Jim. We had open wheel racing, we had short course racing. I mean, what more could you ask for? Plus, I mean, Stadium Super Truck's finally coming back after 3 months. So that is basically open wheel tracks with short course vehicles. So, yeah, we kind of had a smorgasbord of just great racing events over the weekend.
Yeah, SST. We had America's Rallycross. I mean, it was like, I don't know. I got to tell you, I had a hard time doing mine. I left, I didn't even have ARX or SST on my list. I have 6 on my list, but when I get to number 1, everybody will know why. So I think I'm going to start with number 6 on my list, and then we can roll into your number 5. But trust me, it will absolutely make sense when I get to number 1. Everybody's going to go, oh, yeah, I get it. I understand why you did that. So, yeah. So
fair enough.
I'm starting when, it's my show. I can do what I want to, right? We're flipping it up today, but I think I will be surprised when I get and I say my number 1. If you go, yeah, I completely agree with you. I understand why you did 6. So, coming in at number 6 on my list, I'm going to go with CJ Greaves. Just a dominant run there at ERX and Pro 4 UTV. I mean, I don't know, Chris, I could talk about CJ Greaves all day long, but the fact of the matter is anytime that dude puts on a helmet, I don't care what it is, even at King of the Hammers, I mean, he's one of the guys to be beat. 2019, CJ Greaves is absolutely on point in the Midwest. I guess the only thing I would love is seeing all this dominance from CJ. I would love to see them at some point come out west and run a round or two or something like that. But, I mean, C.J. Greaves, his dad Johnny obviously is always on point as well. But I'm rolling with C.J. Greaves in my number 6 spot today.
No doubt, Jim. And I do have CJ on my list, but a little later, I've actually got a couple of Midwest short course drivers from ERX that are going to be on mine. But number 5, I actually am going to go to Rallycross. And, despite my background there, it feels like a lot of times I don't tend to put those drivers on my list. Well, this weekend they go back to the doubleheader format, and a team that we are certainly familiar with on both the stage rally and rallycross sides of things. I've got to give Subaru Motorsports USA, just the whole team, my number 5 slot. Chris Atkinson finally scoring his first rallycross victory on Saturday. Patrick Sandell following up a 3rd place on Saturday with a win on Sunday. Scott Speed now has a 12-point lead in the championship. I mean, it has been a great start to the season, 2019, for Subaru Motorsports USA. They're finally kind of dominating the rallycross ranks over here in the States, and it's something that their fans have been looking forward to for a long time. So just kind of awesome to see that from their standpoint for the weekend. So I've got the whole Subaru Motorsports USA team at my number 5.
And I guess that would have – I struggled with Subaru, not because they didn't deserve to be on the list, but I was like, who do I give the nod to? So, you know what I mean? That was kind of my struggle, and I guess that's probably why they didn't make my list, was because I didn't know how to pick between the 2 drivers who won. So I regretfully, they didn't make my list. I agree with you putting, the team as a whole there at number 5. No arguments whatsoever by me on that front. So my number 5, this one's an interesting one. I've got the Busch brothers, Kyle and Kurt Busch. So obviously, taking an SB win, and I will say robbing Steve Torrence, but an SB win is an SB win, regardless of where my heart lays or lies. But Busch brothers SB win, 1 and 2 at Kentucky. And it was a rad 1-2 finish there at Kentucky, but I don't know. I mean, I didn't know how to pick between the 2, so I got both Kyle and Kurt Busch coming in at number 5 on my list, collectively as the Busch brothers. I guess if your last name is Busch, it was a pretty solid week last week, Chris.
It sure was, Jim. And I feel bad, but you know how it goes with me. I tend to leave NASCAR off the power rankings list just because. A lot of times I'm highlighting other drivers, but number 4, I am going to go back to Midwest Short Course, and that is where I've slotted C.J. Greaves in. Great weekend for him. Both of the Pro Stock UTV victories, another Pro 4 win. What can you say? I mean, he's 6 for 8 among those 2 classes this year. He's gunning for both championships again. At this rate, it looks pretty likely that he's going to take them both.
Yeah, and the Greaves, we can talk because we've got time today. The whole C.J. Greaves thing is interesting to me because, obviously in Pro 4, there's some competition there. We saw Andrew Carlson take a victory, which big shout out to him. But, at his home track, and obviously his dad Johnny's there. When we see the West Coast guys mix it up, C.J.'s always a front runner, but there's competition there. But what really I find remarkable about C.J. Greaves and what he's put together, I mean, everybody knows he's one of the guys to beat. But when you start talking UTV and short course in the Midwest, I mean, it's absolutely a stacked field. I would honestly say that the Midwest short course UTV field is deeper than the West Coast, in short course. And that's not something I say lightly. That being said, like C.J. Greaves, and I'm fortunate enough I call all these races. I wasn't at ERX this past weekend, but literally, I mean, if I would bank on C.J. to win every single one. And if he doesn't, it's actually a surprise. And it's not because there's a light field. I mean, these are the best short course drivers in the world, hands down in the Midwest. And it just blows my mind how dominant he is behind the wheel of a UTV. And I think a lot of people, they think Greaves, they think Pro 4, maybe even Pro 2. But I got to tell you, what CJ's doing behind the wheel of a UTV right now, like, it can't go unnoticed. This kid is absolutely dominant. He is the guy to beat. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, what he's doing is like Steve Torrance type dominance in Top Fuel in UTV. It's just crazy to me. Like, and I think because he runs these other classes, and you know, and UTV isn't quite, you know, quote unquote a Pro 4. I don't think a lot of people. I think sometimes it goes. I don't want to say it goes unnoticed, but it doesn't get as much street cred as what he does behind the wheel of one of the trucks. But I got to tell you, Chris, man, what he's doing in a UTV, it's crazy how good he is.
It absolutely is, Jim. I mean, it's so impressive to see some of the dominance that we've seen in multiple UTV classes in short course. I mean, you got to shout out to Kyle Chaney in Pro Mod as well. And obviously on the West Coast, you know, Corey Weller has been incredibly strong. But I'm with you that heads up, I feel like CJ Graves has just been the class of the sport, really. Last year was such an off year for him. And I think it was actually ERX that kind of torpedoed his title hopes and let Ryan Mulder take over that championship in that number 1 plate this year. But, you know, now that they've got it back on track 4 for 4, I mean, you know, what more can you say about that? And winning titles in 2 disciplines is such a difficult thing. We've seen on the West Coast, RJ Anderson go for that with Pro 4 and Pro 2 and been able to do the Pro 4, but it's so hard to get both of them, you know, especially when you have to drive vehicles totally differently. And, you know, for CJ to be able to do that this year would just really, it'd be one of my most impressive motorsport feats of the year, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Running multiple divisions, it is definitely not an easy thing. And, you know, a lot of times back to back and jumping in and out of trucks. And, you know, we could talk about CJ all day long, but I got to get to my number, I guess what are we at? Number 3, number 4? Because I did an
number
extra
4.
One. We're at number 4. We'll get to my number 4, and then we'll go to a break. But we're going back to Midwest Short Course. One of my guests today, Christopher Polvoorde, you know, going 4 for 4 so far in 2019 in Midwest Short Course. He went back to back there at ERX. Just a dominating effort, you know, and you start talking about names like Ryan Beat competing against him and things like that. Like, you know, what Polvoorde is doing is insane. And I think, you know, as you'll learn from this interview, like, I think it's kind of a little shocking to him how ridiculously good they are in 2019. But I've got Polvoorde there at number 4 on my list for his dominating effort there at ERX and going 4 for 4, sweeping the season so far. And before we go to our break, I got to tell you guys about a partner that we've brought on board on both Project Action and here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. You know, and you guys are probably outdoor people like me. You know, some of you, you know, probably hunters. You know, I don't know, like to shoot guns. You know, go out in the wilderness, camp. You know, into survival stuff, tactical stuff. Well, you know, most subscription boxes are full of samples, junk you'll never use. But BattleBox, it's a monthly subscription box for men with solid gear for adventure seekers, survivalists, and outdoor enthusiasts. They sent me a box recently. It's got some rad tactical knives in it. You know, it's got some stuff to clean your guns. I mean, it's got innovative, you know, lighters and stuff like that for out in the wilderness, and just all kinds of rad survival gear, toolkits. You definitely need to check it out. Each month, BattleBox sends you the coolest selection of hand-picked outdoor survival and everyday carry gear, all valued at far more than what you'd normally pay. You'll never know what's in the next box, but you know what? I got to tell you, they've had me locked in, and it's one of my favorite things to get every single month. You know what? All the badassness just starts at $30 a month. They've shipped almost 1 million boxes, and they won Best Men's Subscription Box of 2019 at the Subscription Box Industries Cube Awards. You got to try BattleBox right now. I'm telling you, and if you do, our listeners are going to get a free tactical knife when you sign up at trybattlebox.com/Beaver. That's trybattlebox.com/Beaver. You'll get your first BattleBox plus a free tactical knife on me. Just go to trybattlebox.com/Beaver, and we will be back with the rest of our power rankings when we return right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with the Down and Dirty radio show since 2012. Do you race or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500 or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Super ATV is the industry leader in aftermarket UTV and ATV parts and accessories. Super ATV products are designed, engineered, tested, and manufactured right here by Super ATV. Whether you're looking to upgrade your suspension, get stronger axles, or you're looking for a new winch to get you out of a tough spot, Super ATV has what you're looking for. And since we know you're in a hurry, we offer fast, free shipping to the lower 48 states on all orders. Visit superatv.com now and get your UTV or ATV dialed in.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Chris Leone here. We've got our power rankings for last week. So far, I'm doing 6. Chris is doing 5. Chris stayed within the constraints. I kind of went off on my own in my own world. But CJ Greaves, I had him at 6. I had the Bush brothers, Kyle and Kurt, at number 5. I had Christopher Polvoorde there at number 4. Chris, who was your 5 and 4? And let's roll right into number 3.
Well, Jim, my 5 was Subaru Motorsports USA for sweeping the weekend at Gateway. My number 4 was CJ Greaves. And, you know, my number 3, I'm actually going to pick up right where you left off at the break. Christopher Polvoorde, 4 for 4 in Pro Light is no easy feat. And to be able to do that up against Ryan Beat when both of them have come over to the Midwest because they're running full national schedules, I mean, that's just super impressive. Ryan Beat was the class of the field in the Southwest last year. And, you know, it would stand to be a pretty good prediction that he would do the same thing this year in 2019. But Polvoorde and that team, they've really put in some work in the offseason, and we're seeing it with them sweeping Crandon, with them sweeping ERX.
Yeah, and, you know, and these tracks are quite a bit different than the stuff on the West Coast, and that's what makes it even more shocking for Polvoorde. But, yeah, which I guess technically if I wouldn't have cheated, I think he would have probably been there, I don't know, pretty close to where you had him. I don't know. I threw things off this week. But coming in at number 3 on my list, I'm going to IndyCar. We're moving up north of the border to Canada, and I've got Simon Pagenaud as my number 3. Now, Simon, This is the guy that was kind of forgotten about. He was the guy that was rumored to be getting the boot from Penske. Little did we know, here comes the month of May. He sweeps the month of May. Roger Penske goes, "Yep, Simon is safe here. We're re-signing him. You win the Indy 500, you win yourself another 2 years at Team Penske." Simon Pagenaud up there in Toronto, dominating effort, and he's actually moved himself, I believe, to third in points now. But just a great run by Pagenaud, and all things considered, man, I mean, he's got a hunt behind him. I mean, you've got Dixon, you've got Newgarden, and you got Rossi all in the shootout for the championship. These guys have been on point all year. Here's Simon Pagenaud. It was like month of May just turned around his season, and he is on fire now. And I think going into every IndyCar round from here on out, he is going to be one of the guys to watch, one of the ones to beat. Dominating effort there in Toronto. Simon Pagenaud, number 3 on my list.
Man, Jim, you're making it easy for me because I had Simon as my number 2, as a matter of fact. Another great effort in Toronto, like you said. After winning, after sweeping both the IndyCar Grand Prix and the Indianapolis 500, what can you say about somebody really turning around their season and their tenure at Team Penske that way? I mean, for him to beat the guys that he beat, where you've got guys like Dixon, who was the defending champion, where you've got guys like Rossi, who was his rumored replacement in that Team Penske car, even though now it looks like Rossi's going to stay at Andretti. I mean, what can you say about just performing under pressure the way that Simon Pagenaud has this year? He's going to be right in that title fight, I think, with Joseph Newgarden and Rossi. Those two guys have a little bit of a gap, but Simon has really started to whittle it down a little bit, and as they get close with one another, it'll be interesting to see if that gap narrows even more in Iowa.
Yeah, it's I'm loving. I don't know how anybody can not like IndyCar right now. I mean, it's just absolutely mind-blowing how close everything is, this actually goes back to there was something Kelly Crandall, who those of you who don't know her, she's with Racer Magazine. She does a podcast through our network, Racing Writers Podcast. If you like stock car racing, you should be listening to Kelly Crandall's show. She's been on this show a few times. They actually had her on Project Action to talk pro wrestling because she's a big pro wrestling fan. But Kelly Crandall posted something to Twitter over the weekend, and they're talking about everybody would like to see this IndyCar and NASCAR doubleheader, and run on one day, like an evening race or something like that, and a lot of the Cup drivers, like Ryan Newman, came out and was completely against it. And no, we don't need to do that. It's too long to keep people there. NASCAR's been apprehensive about it. Meanwhile, IndyCar is like, yes, let's do it. And, people, they're making excuses. It's too long. And I'm like, it's not too long. You know what? The facts of the matter are, I've been to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I've watched a Champ Car and NASCAR truck doubleheader. It started about 6 in the evening. We got done at 11. Everybody stayed. It was an amazing event. Long Beach, they run all day with SST and IMSA. IndyCar, it's not about the length. If it's a good show, people will stay. Why I think that NASCAR is apprehensive about actually doing this doubleheader with IndyCar, I think it's going to show how much better the actual racing is in IndyCar than it actually is in NASCAR right now. And we've got these photo finishes. We've got these tight points battles. It's good, hard racing. There's no gimmicky segments and playoffs and just crap. It's just good racing. And I think that going back to this, IndyCar right now, the racing is so amazing. The TV ratings are going up every single event. I think, honestly, it's the best racing on earth, and I say that and I mean it, and I think the reason why NASCAR is apprehensive about doing a doubleheader with IndyCar, I think it's going to expose and show some holes in their game, Chris.
Yeah, no doubt, Jim. I mean, it's always tough to try and convince an organization that has the upper hand in things to work with another organization. I think a NASCAR IndyCar doubleheader would be a fantastic thing, frankly, for everybody involved. But, it can be scary to make those kinds of decisions if you're worried about the other product that you're working with upstaging you. But, the one thing that I've always believed about motorsport is a rising tide lifts all boats. And, everybody in motorsports really got to work together to make sure that our product is the best that it can be, no matter if wheels are touching the ground, how many wheels are on it, what the cars look like, whether they look like production models, whether they look like, futuristic fighter jets, it doesn't matter. We all have to work together, and we all need to push forward in tandem to try and, just be the best that we can be in motorsport. I think a NASCAR and IndyCar doubleheader would, really quell a lot of the doubters. I agree that everybody, I think, would be in their seats the entire time.
Yeah, no doubt. Which leads me to my number 2 on my list. We got to get to this one because doing 2 segments, we're already kind of only got about 5 minutes left. But yeah, talking about good racing, I know I have beat Formula One up the past couple of weeks, both on social media and on air. And I got to say, there was a little bit of redemption at Silverstone. One, I don't know what F1's thinking if they let Silverstone go, because it lent itself to some of the best racing we've seen in Formula One in years. Number two on my list, I've got Lewis Hamilton / Silverstone, because I don't think what we saw and the effort by Hamilton would have meant as much if it wasn't at Silverstone. But the event as a whole, I mean, Hamilton run away with this thing. But did you watch like the Vettel and Verstappen just crazy battle there, Chris? I mean, I've never seen that much passing in Formula One, I think, in decades. Like, those two guys left it all on the track. Obviously, Vettel made a mistake, took them both out. But I got to tell you, Chris, like, this race, that's what Formula One needs. And for Formula One, I don't care if it's for money or otherwise, to think about leaving Silverstone after what we saw this last weekend. I'm like, no, let's run Silverstone a dozen times if it's going to lend us to that kind of racing. Like, it was insane, Chris. I mean, that was like a Formula One race, and these guys were driving them like Indy cars. Like, I was loving it.
Oh, man, that was such a great race. And usually I don't wake up early for Formula One, Jim, but I'm glad I did in this case. That was a hell of a show. I don't know what to say about the Verstappen-Vettel incident. There are some things that just when you see them, you have no idea what anybody was really thinking there, and it becomes hard to even place blame. I mean, I figure that most of our listeners have a pretty well-formed opinion and know who they're going to blame. I'm just going to stay out of that one because it still blows my mind that even happened. But, funny that you should bring up Formula One at this point, because I did have Lewis Hamilton as my number 1. Anytime you can break a tie with Alan Prost and Jim Clark, of all people, for most British Grand Prix victories, they had 5, and now Lewis has 6. What can you say? I mean, that we talk a lot about how the car is what matters most in Formula One, and that is kind of the truth to some extent, but still, as a driver, you have to be the one to do something with it. Hamilton finds a way to do something with it just about every single weekend, and he is my number 1, which makes me curious, since you've expanded your list to 6 for this week, Jim. Who have I missed as number 1?
Yeah, we will get to my number 1 in a second, but I do want to go back to just talking about Hamilton and Silverstone and Formula One, because we got an extra, I think we're down to 90 seconds, but seriously, like, with what, even the drivers are like, let them race. I think Formula One maybe this weekend loosened up a bit. I'm just saying, whatever I saw this past weekend, ignore everything I said, the weeks previously. Formula One, this is what us as fans want. Let them race, let them get rowdy, let them pass, let them cut each other off. Your ratings are going to be there. Fans won't leave. They're actually going to come in groves. So that leads me to my number 1. And as I get to this one, Chris, it's kind of an honorary number 1, but Robert Wickens. Back behind the wheel in Toronto. Obviously, it wasn't during the race, but just being able to do laps in a hand-controlled car there at Toronto. I think he had his girlfriend in the car with him, who is his fiancée, I should say. I know they're getting married later this year, but I love Wickens. I love this story. I love his positivity. I've got to know Robert a little bit at Indy a year ago before the accident. One of the nicest guys I've ever interviewed. Robert Wickens, I had to have him at number 1 on the list, Chris.
Well played, Jim. That is perfectly fair. And, now I feel bad for just kind of focusing on the actual racing results and not the human element story there, because frankly, that's a better story than anything we got out of this weekend race-wise. And that isn't even a knock on all the racing. But, that is the toughest thing about these power rankings. I feel like both of us have gone on the air multiple times, heard something the other person said, and just kind of face palmed and been like, man, I can't believe I missed that. So that's me. That's me right now.
Yeah.
Awesome to see Wiki driving again. And, I have no doubt that he is going to be back behind the wheel of a competitive race car, very, very soon. And frankly, I don't think we're done seeing him in an Indy car. I mean, somebody like that, they have the determination to get back behind the wheel and be able to race competitively. And, I can only imagine what it'll be like to see him get an IndyCar victory after everything that he's been through.
Yeah, and it's not an if, it's a win. You know what I mean? And it's going to happen. I know he's very lucky that Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports have said, hey, there will be a car for you when you return, when you're ready. Your car isn't going anywhere. We may have other drivers in there, but you have a car with us. I got to give a big tip of the cap to them to approach it that way. And Wickens is working his ass off every day to make it happen. And, I don't know, when it will be. I would say, we're probably still at least a year away, if not more. But I think it definitely will happen. And just a feel-good story coming out of Toronto with Wickens back behind the wheel of that car, and just remarkable to see all of that happen. So yeah, as I guess we wind down our power rankings and roll forward into the next couple of segments. I know hour number 2, we've got Christopher Polvoorde on the line. Also got Tiffany Stone. I don't know, we are slam packed, full of goodness today here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. You don't want to go anywhere, because as we wrap up hour number 1, that means hour number 2 is upon us, and you definitely don't want to miss that. So, we're going to take a short commercial break, and when we return right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR, we'll have more. Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance, or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I've partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at MotoShieldPro.com.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jimmy, we're holding it down, just getting done with some power rankings with Mr. Christopher Leone. And, it's been a fun show so far. Hour number 2, we got a lot coming up. We've got Christopher Polvoorde on the line, as well as Tiffany Stone, and a whole lot more. And if you've been missing out on all the greatness that we've been dropping on the website, please go over to downanddirtyshow.com. Check out all the content, written articles, and a whole lot more. We've also got not only this show, we've got my other show, Project Action. Last week's guest, Jason Ellis. This week's guest, Vicki Golden. We've got the off-road edition of the Down and Dirty Radio Show, brought to you by 4 Wheel Parts. On that show, we just had Butch Arciero Jr., who was Off-Road Hall of Famer. He was, going in this November. He was on the show. It's Ryan Arciero's dad. Great interview with him. Also, we've got Racing Riders Podcast. My good friend Kelly Crandall. We distribute that one, as well as iRacing has their show. And we've got that as well. So I don't know, man. We've got the bases covered, whether you like esports, you like NASCAR, you like off-road, you like my shows, action sports, man. We got something for everybody. Not only that, but a bunch of written content and stuff like that. Also, check out Rigid Industries. I just filmed a commercial with them, and it dropped today in my blue Subaru. I've got it on my Instagram. It's up on their social media. Launched a brand new light bar series. Definitely check it out on my social media. It's a pretty rad commercial. We filmed it literally in the middle of the night on this awesome mountain road in Arizona. And, I guess Arizona, I say that, but, here I am in Arizona, right? I don't know, just kind of sounded weird when that came out. But definitely go and check that commercial out. Rigid trying to innovate with the way they do product launches and things like that. And I was really, really stoked on the way that commercial turned out. Not just because I was in it and driving, but just thought the cinematography was really rad, especially at night. It's got to be so hard being a light company knowing that you've always got to film your commercials at night, right? You can't film a lighting commercial during the day. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? So you got to do it at night. It's kind of an interesting predicament lighting companies are in, I guess. But Rigid killing the game. They're figuring it out. Make sure and go over, hit the subscribe button on iTunes to this show. It definitely helps us out. I don't think you guys realize, even if you listen on the website, go over and leave us a rating or review on iTunes. Helps us bump up the charts. Much appreciated for those of you who do. And definitely check out my other RSS feed, my other show, Project Action on Podcast One as well. We got some really fun stuff and exciting announcements coming on that show. And, what am I? At Jim Beaver 15 on social media. But, we are going to take another short commercial break. We come back. We're going to kick off hour number 2, and I think it'll be a Dirtfish Rally Report right here. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR, kicking off hour number 2. And you know what that means? That means it is time for the Dirtfish Rally Report for this week, brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. And if you're looking for a discount, use a coupon code JBDirtfish, and that'll get you 15% off all classes right there at Dirtfish. So, Dirtfish Rally Report. Man, got a lot of rally action right now. NEFR, New England Forest Rally, is going on. Last weekend we had America's Rallycross. Current update from NEFR. Now, if you're on site, it could be a little bit off, but right now, the latest results I've got so far as we are live is that we've got David Higgins leading and Oliver Solberg sitting in second. They're through Concord Pond, out, more stages to come. But, we're just getting things rolling, some Friday, Saturday rally, and that's kind of what we're looking at so far right now. So, so moving to last weekend's result. So America's Rallycross was at Gateway, and I got to tell you, this track, from everything I hear, was absolutely insane. Some people calling it the best rallycross track in North America. I would not doubt that. There's really not a whole lot of competition, but that's great to see that Gateway built something that is just really, really good. So, it was a doubleheader also. So going into the round 2, which was the opening round of the weekend, it was Atco, Chris Atkinson for Subaru Motorsports taking the victory. Steve Arpin in second, Patrick Sandell third, Scott Speed, Travis Picoy, Tanner Faust rounding out your top 6 in that main event. So Subaru keeping it perfect, 2 for 2 on the season with Scott Speed. Now Chris Atkinson winning the second round of the championship. And then moving into the final round of the weekend, round number 3 there at Gateway, was Patrick Sandell making it a clean sweep for Subaru on the season so far. All 3 factory drivers have a victory. That is big for Subaru. Scott Speed in second, Tanner Faust third, Atkinson in fourth, Steve Arpin in fifth, and Travis Picoy rounding out your 6th car field for the main. Now looking at the point standing so far, it is Speed number 1, Tanner Faust second, Patrick Sandell third, Atkinson, Arpin, Picoy, and Cabot Bigham rounding out your top 7. So that's where we sit. That was your Dirtfish Rally Report, brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. JB Dirtfish is that coupon code, and we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire. General Tire's Grabber X3 mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3 from General Tire. Make your anywhere possible by visiting GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, aggressive styling with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
Looking to have some fun on 4 wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Super ATV is the industry leader in aftermarket UTV and ATV parts and accessories. Super ATV products are designed, engineered, tested, and manufactured right here by Super ATV. Whether you're looking to upgrade your suspension, get stronger axles, or you're looking for a new winch to get you out of a tough spot, Super ATV has what you're looking for. And since we know you're in a hurry, we offer fast, free shipping to the lower 48 states on all orders. Visit superatv.com now and get your UTV or ATV dialed in.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome my General Tire teammate and big winner on the weekend, Christopher Polvoorde, to the welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to see happens today.
Yeah. Well, I got to ask, man, like, I guess scrolling through your Instagram and stuff, like immediately this morning it pops up. You're like on a mountain bike ride in the middle of the morning, like 7:30 this morning. It looks like you're having some fun on, wake surfing and on the blob. Like, it seems like if you're not in the truck, you're doing something fun, man.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. I live a pretty wild lifestyle, and I'm always on the move. It seems like that's when I'm in town, it's a very weird thing. So, but yeah, we like to have a lot of fun and biking and everything. It keeps me in shape, and it all helps, I think, when I hit the racetrack.
Yeah, well, that being said, like I've always loved riding BMX and go to the skate park a lot, and I like to wakeboard and stuff, and I always feel like, well, I had to make it as a race car driver and a radio personality because my first love of riding BMX and wakeboarding, I just was never good enough to hack it. So it's like we'll settle for being a race car driver and a radio host, right?
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. So before we talk about the weekend, though, I want to go back and take a look back because this is kind of the first time we've had you on air. But man, kind of tell us, because you're still young, but I know you even went and did Chili Bowl this year. Like, where did you get your start in motorsports? Like, how did we get to where we're at now in Pro Light and just destroying the competition? Because I mean, kind of take me through like your process as a driver, and and then obviously doing Chili Bowl, man. That's something completely different than short course, man. Kind of take us to where we're at and how we got here.
No, definitely, yeah. So I started off, so no one in my family has ever raced before, which is pretty wild. A few years ago, I guess more than a few years ago, about 8-9 years ago, someone owed my dad money and traded him a trophy cart. And I just started doing that here and there. And, if my grades were good, I'd get to do a race. We'd do like one race every few months if we were lucky out at the regionals and stuff. And then, we started to get the bug for it, and I started doing better and better. And, in the beginning, I was definitely not very fast. I was the guy in the back that was causing a lot of yellows. But then we started in a mod kart, won a mod kart championship and a Rookie of the Year, won 2 world championships out at Crandon in a mod kart. And then, that's really when we stepped it up to the Pro Light. We actually bought, when we were back in Crandon, I guess 4 years ago now, we bought a Pro Light right then from Kincaid's, and just slowly started working it. And then just started surrounding myself by some really cool people like Jimmy Davison, my crew chief, and Chris Salazar, who helped me with the trophy carts. And they just started allowing me to get faster and faster. And I put in a lot of time. Troy Adams, he put in a lot of time trying to coach me, and now I'm working with Corey Kruzman, and I've been really lucky to be surrounded with good people, and now it's all starting to pay off. This Pro Light thing it's tough. It's a tough class, and you're kind of on the edge of control like all the time if you want to be fast. But it's just finding that balance, and now I'm loving it. It's so much fun, and like you said, we've had an amazing year, and it's been tough. There's so much good competition in Pro Light right now.
Yeah. Well, and do you feel like you guys obviously you guys started from scratch, the program and everything to get where you're at. You feel like, there's a good and bad, like you're kind of slow out of the gate. It takes a couple of years to build things. But I feel like sometimes when you don't come in with a big splash and, and are just writing checks for millions of dollars right up front, like I feel like you're able to build something with like some legs, you know what I mean? And it's got some roots. And I feel like sometimes that slow approach like you guys took, it actually ends up paying off dividends in the long run, like where you're at now, because it's like every single year you can see the progression of the program and things like that.
No, I definitely think so. And yeah, in the beginning, we were lost. We had no clue. I remember going over, especially like the Watsons, Elliot Watsons. We were always over at their tent trying to learn things in the Junior 1 days. And yeah, in the beginning, my dad and I, we were doing all of it. And we were super lost. But I think it's good because, like you said, it's a different perspective where my dad's a businessman and he's taught me that way. So it's kind of, we're approaching it different, and it's cool to be able to grow, It's not just jumping in, like you said. So, I don't know. It's been a cool process, and I think it's been really fun. And, every year it's just getting more and more fun trying to take it to the next level.
Yeah, well, and I got to ask, man, how did the whole Chili Bowl thing pop up? Now, obviously, General Tire and Lucas are involved with Chili Bowl. You mentioned Corey Kruzman. Like, how did this get put together? Because it's not often that an off-road short course guy decides, hey, I'm going to go race sprint cars. Like, how did that whole thing get put together? And, dude, take me through what it was actually like to race at the Chili Bowl, dude, because that event is just madness.
Oh, yes, and it was definitely madness for me. Corey Kruzman, he's been coaching me for the past 2 years, and I go to his school a lot and spend a lot of time in midgets and sprint cars and, you know, stuff like that on the dirt oval. So he kept bugging me, and, you know, he was like, I got this open spot and I think it'd be really good for you. So I kind of aligned some deals, and, you know, I ended up getting it so I could go out there, and it was definitely wild. I did not know what to expect. Everyone talks about it. Like, it was like, I was just like, I knew it was this crazy thing. Everyone's just like, oh, you're going to the Chili Bowl. And honestly, I was so nervous because everyone was just like, this thing's huge. So when we got there, it was super cool. I mean, it's just a crazy event. I mean, how big it is. It's all inside. It's freezing cold outside. But luckily, all the pits are inside. And, you know, Corey, he prepped me really good. I spent a lot of time down testing in the midget, in Ventura and stuff, and, you know, kind of set up some smaller tracks. And I felt pretty confident going into it, and practice went really good. In my practice heat, I was one of the fastest. So it felt good. You know, every time we hit the track on practice day, I just felt comfortable. And it was a whole different thing trying to learn, like, I had spent a lot of time testing them, but when you're Chili Bowl, it's so small and there's so many cars. It was kind of a handful, just trying to get used to it all. But Corey was super happy with everything, and, you know, it was cool to have him, you know, coaching me right there, because he's just a legend there. That's what people were coming up to me like I was some like, who are you? I'm like, oh, I'm just some off-road guy with Corey, but because Corey brought me, it was kind of cool. But unfortunately, the racing was not ideal for me. I actually had it was a really bad luck. So I went out for my qualifier, and I started, I forget what I started, but it was on the outside, and right on the start, the guy on the inside of me decided he wanted to move up 2 lanes, and which caused me I was touching the wall already pretty much. Like, I was all the way on the outside. This is before turn 1. Hits me. I wheel hop, center punch a wall, destroy the car. So then we're like scrambling. Corey, you know, he has this whole team there, and shout out to them because they got this whole thing back together in like 30 minutes so I could get back in the LCQ. Went out for the LCQ, and I was like, okay. Because I pulled off the track, and I was all like, well, I got towed off the track. I was like, so what I do wrong? Because I felt like, okay, like, you know, this is all new to me. Like, did I do something wrong? And they're like, no, you just got taken out. It's plain and simple. And that's, yeah. So then I'm like, okay. Like, and then I was just like, okay, I'm just going to go cruise, you know, get into a transfer spot. And then just, you know, the races are short, but still, I was like, I just got to settle in, get into a transfer spot, and then I'll go from there. So we're rolling out, and since I DNF'd the first race, I'm last in the LCQ. And before the start line, you know, green flag goes, we're rolling out of turn 4 down the front straight. The guy on the inside of me hits the inside barrier, which he loses control, then cuts across and T-bones me as I'm going straight. And then I cartwheel and destroy another car. So honestly, it was not that great of an experience, but it was cool. I learned a lot, and at that point, I was pretty beat up. I had been in 2 crashes, and the car was not pretty. But it was a cool experience, and I had so many people coming up to me like, man, I've never seen anyone have this bad of luck in the Chili Bowl, which unfortunately that was me. And they're like, well, you're going to make all the highlight reels. And I have seen a lot of pictures of me cartwheeling through the air and stuff on Chili Bowl sites and stuff. So that's good, I guess. But it was a cool experience. You know, like you said, not many off-road guys get to do it. And I was super excited. It was cool. Learned a lot, and just being there with Corey, it was a huge accomplishment on it just felt cool.
And we've got to take a short break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris RZR. But when we return, we will definitely have some more with General Tire's Christopher Polvoorde, who's got the sweep going on in the Midwest this year so far in the Midwest Short Course League. And I don't know, lots more fun to come right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris RZR.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at MotoShieldPro.com.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. When we went to break, we were catching up with General Tire's Christopher Polvoorde, who has got a clean sweep of the Midwest going on as far as short course is concerned. And we were talking a little bit about his experience at Chili Bowl. Yeah, is that one of those where you got to earmark like, hey, I got some unfinished business, I'd like to go back? Or was like a one-off, like, okay, I did it, I'm done?
No, I definitely, that's the thing. I felt like, oh, man, these guys just think I'm, this, I can't drive now. So I'm definitely, I think in the future I'd really love to be back. Maybe not these next few years, but, I want to come back and, show them that these off-road guys, we do have some speed here and there.
Yeah. Well, and, talking about Corey real quick, and then we'll switch gears, talk some short course, but I know I think a lot of people in off-road circles don't give Corey the credit he deserves. Obviously, we know what he's done behind the wheel of a sprint car and things like that, but, you're talking about training with him. I know, Brian Deegan's gone and trained with him. I mean, Cruzman, he's trained some badass off-road guys.
No, definitely. I mean, Corey's probably one of the smartest people I know. He's super quiet. He's just, it's so cool because he's so quiet, so humble. But, when it comes race time, he knows. And it's been cool to learn with him because he's taught me so much, and just the way to look at things and the way to analyze things. And, having him in my ear out on the tracks has been huge these past 2 years. And I think it's really taken my program to the next level because he's smart, he knows a lot, and he's willing to put in the time. He's always, me and him talk on the phone about races. We do a lot of post-race stuff. And, yeah, it's such an awesome thing to have him on the team. And I know everyone on the team. I know my crew chief, Jimmy, everyone is so happy when Corey gets there. So, because he's just this awesome guy who's super talented. And, yeah, like you said, he's built some insane off-road racers, and he's built some insane sprint car racers too, including himself.
Yeah, exactly. Guy is full-on legend stat as far as I'm concerned. But, talking about what he's done for you, I mean, I know Lucas West Coast, you've taken some podiums so far, but we got to kind of talk about the Midwest because you were one of the teams, I know, along with Beat, who said, hey, we're going to take our pro lights, we're going to do the full Midwest series. Dude, I mean, you got the sweep going on. I mean, were you expecting that going in? I mean, especially Crandon, obviously I knew you guys were going to be front runners, but, Beat's won there before. He's won world championships. He knows it really well. Obviously you guys, have done your homework and things like that, but man, you guys so far in 2019, I mean, 4 for 4, dude, that's insane.
Yeah, no, I definitely did not expect it at all. I was, when I heard Beat was going back there, I was like, oh man, this is going to be really tough, I had never really run back there with any of those other guys, so I didn't really know what to expect. We did a lot of homework. We went out to Crandon. We tested for a day and did it, but I knew Beat was going to be fast. Like you said, he's on the West Coast. He's one of my number one competitors. So, going into it, I definitely did not expect to go 4 for 4 so far, and it's been cool. It's cool to see, all our hard work and my team, Jimmy Davidson and Bobby. Those guys put so much time into developing this car. It's been fun, and when you go back there and do that, and it's just been awesome. And it's not like, it's been given to us. It's been battles, so that's what makes it fun. Like the race on Sunday here at ERX was just insane.
Yeah, well, and I know obviously Crandon, they kind of ran you on the short track this past the spring run, I guess they call it. It's like summer run. I don't know how they call it the spring run, but moving into Labor Day, I mean, be running the long track there, but even looking further, sooner, like Bark River, it's the long track. How's that, that adjustment? Do you guys have to, I'm just assuming gearing and stuff like that, like Bark River, there's this stretch on the back that's just crazy. You let the legs stretch on your truck, and I know on the West Coast stuff, it's more, tight, condensed. There's not those long runs where you can just get on the pipe and let these things scream, Is there any kind of adjustment you guys have had to make as a team?
No, definitely, and that's we've had to make a lot of gear changes, and torque converters are huge. So, but the big thing is the gearing, and that's tough. Like you said, the West Coast is a lot tighter, so trying to adapt to that, and just my driving style too a little bit. You got to be a lot smoother at these high speeds, no mistakes, and I think it's been kind of fun though. We're enjoying it because the West Coast tracks, so we've started to figure it out. So when we go to a thing, we got to set up and we just make small tweaks where when we're coming in these Midwest tracks like ERX, we literally have no clue. We're just throwing stuff at it and praying that it works. And that's what, I don't know, it's kind of fun. It's part of the game, I think. That's the way I like to think about it, because you're always trying to just, figure it out. And unfortunately, there's only 1 or 2 practices on Friday before we race, so it's definitely it's quick. You gotta be on your toes.
Yeah, well, and and talking about that, it's I think the Midwest ones, even ERX, it's had the split lane. There's all these different adjustments you guys get to. I guess it's got to be kind of fun going to a new track with things like that, with split lanes. And every track in the Midwest, Bark River's got its stuff that's kind of different, and Crandon's got its stuff that's a little bit different. But it's got to be kind of cool for you to have these adjustments you can make and these new obstacles being thrown at you,
Yeah, that's what I think. It's been a lot of fun. That's when we were planning this year, that's what we knew it was going to be cool. And to run new tracks, Lucas, I've ran all those tracks for the past 4 or 5 years consistently. So coming out to Bark River and Crandon and ERX, and it's all new. It's been so much fun just because it's different. And yeah, you gotta learn quick and be on your toes, so or we're gonna be in the back.
Well, before we let you go, get one last question. Obviously, you're killing it in Pro Light. You guys, obviously, I'm assuming you're pretty content right there right now. But any long-term plans? You looking at maybe a Pro 2, Pro 4? A year or two down the road?
No, definitely. I'd really like to get into a Pro 2 in the next few years. Pro 4, that's always a dream. But right now, we definitely have Pro 2 set on our sights and just trying to figure it out. I know Lucas just kind of settled down the rules. So I think in the next few years you can expect. And, I got some other big things happening behind the scenes. So I'm really excited. These next 2020 and 2021 is going to be super cool. And I'm excited to, start figuring it all out. And it's cool to see, we've put in a lot of time, and our performance on and off the track's starting to pay off.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the time, man. I know I'll be up in Reno here in a few weeks, and also at Bark River. So I guess I'll be making the trip back to all these venues with you guys, crisscrossing the country, man. But congrats on the big weekend, man, and I guess we'll see you in a few weeks at Reno.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yep, I'm heading up to Reno today to go test. So busy schedule, but I'm excited Reno should be a fun one.
Yeah, putting in the homework. Do you feel like you have to now to stay on point? I mean, you talked about testing at Crandon. You feel like you've got to go and put in the homework at all these tracks with the competition in Pro Light?
I think so. I mean, Pro Light right now is just so fast. There's so many guys, especially on the West Coast, that can win at any moment. So that's what I've been in the car so much lately, we don't want to stop that. And I think it's going to be, we want to carry our Midwest momentum right into the West Coast Series for Reno.
Awesome. Well, congrats, buddy. We will definitely chat soon. And, thanks for calling into the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a real honor, and talk to you soon. Have a good one.
And you want to talk about a kid that's just absolutely shredding it. I mean, Chili Bowl, sweeping so far the Midwest Short Course League 4 for 4. And you want to talk about some guys that aren't slouches, man. That Pro Life field in the Midwest is absolutely insane. But it's funny when you look at a team like that they're killing it right now, but you look back 4 or 5 years and you'd be like, man, these guys are never going to amount to anything. But I think, as we talked about in the interview, there's something to be said about starting out small, working your way up, chipping away. One, I think when you do get to the top, you appreciate it more. And you also learn from your mistakes as you go along. And, there's people, whether it be radio, podcasting, racing, whatever it is, they can go in and they can spend a grip ton of money right out of the box. And sometimes they'll find success. Sometimes you can buy wins and you can buy success. But other times they don't, and they don't understand why they failed because they threw all this money at it. They completely wasted the money at whatever it is, and then those are the type people that 2 or 3 years in, they just fizzle out. You never see them again because they blew a bunch of money, had zero success, and they're just like, oh, I'll move on to the next thing. I'm over it, right? I think if you approach something like he did, start out small, work your way up. You're going to have failures, and that's okay because you're learning from those failures as you go along. I think when you finally do reach the top of your game, you appreciate it more, and the pitfalls that you went through, and you avoid those moving forward. So, I don't know, such a rad story to see this kid, what he's doing in the Midwest, man. It's just crazy. Obviously we've known the name for a few years, but this year in particular, just absolutely dominating effort so far in short course. And I'm excited to see the way things shape up. I think he's definitely helped elevate the competition level there in Pro Light. Anyways, we are going to take a short break, and when we return, Tiffany Stone right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself, or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online in syndication on networks across the U.S. and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome Miss Tiffany Stone to the line, who is sitting in a hotel room from The Shining, getting ready to I guess, watch some battling there. ARA Rally, New England Forest Rally, one of my favorite rallies on the calendar. Welcome to the show, Tiff. You're still alive. That's a good thing.
I am still alive. No, that's exactly what I was saying. I got here a little early because whenever I travel, I like to fly in early, kind of check out the scenery, make a 2-for-1, type deal. And then tomorrow we're going to do some recce. So I'm actually here 2 days before the event. So it's a little scarce. And I walked in and I'm like, I legit feel like I'm in The Shining. I feel like I'm going to come out, and 2 little girls are going to be at the end of the hallway for me, just waiting for me.
What was it at Bark River where we were with the guys from Vision Wheel, and they had the haunted hotel room, and it was like they had like bats flying around in the hotels and things like that. What is it about motorsports where we get like the most sketch places? Like, I don't know. It's just to me, it's crazy the way it all works out.
Yeah, no, I mean, the places that I've been staying at are pretty nice. It's not that it's like gross or nasty or it's like unclean. It's just, it's a ski area, so there's legit nobody here, and there's multiple different like lodges and inns and stuff like that. But like where I'm at, so it's just a little scary, you know. It's just like, all right, I'm the only one here. Okay, what do we do?
So you're the only one there. Yesterday, according to Instagram, you were at Area 51 and hanging out with aliens and getting ready for the invasion coming September 20th. So you are you're taking the sketchy stuff this week.
Well, yeah, I knew that I wanted to go check out the aliens, make sure that it was okay, that, you know, we could go visit and do all those things. And then instead of like heading back home, I just pitched on our UFO and kind of went over here, and they dropped me off at the ski resort.
Yeah, go from hanging out with aliens to skiing in the summertime. You are just killing it this week. What's your take on this whole alien thing in Area 51? Like, so what is it, September 20th? Everybody's supposed to raid Area 51. I'm like, literally, like, I would not blame the military if they opened fire on 700,000 people. Like, what are these people thinking?
Well, the thing is first of all, if you're going to do that, if you're going to storm Area 51, you need to do it on Independence Day, because Will Smith is already there bringing an alien in, and, you know, there's a bunch of RVs, so you'll be able to find it. That's when they should have done it, because then nobody would have even known. Then we could have just had Independence Day. Bill Pullman at the end of it could give a great speech, and then July 4th could have happened, and then nobody would be none the wiser.
Yeah. You know what they need to do to make it interesting? Like, if they're going to do it, they all got to dress up in alien costumes and then storm the place. Like I don't know. Like,
but which alien do you do? Do you go with the normal aliens that you see, you know, in Roswell that you've seen? Do you go with the aliens that are from Men in Black? Do you go with the Predator, you know, from Aliens like Predator? Or are you going like E.T., Phone Home alien? Like, which alien are you going to be? Because there's subspecies now.
There's subspecies. We are getting very in-depth on the alien talk here. Oh, we're talking about subspecies of aliens. I don't know. I find the whole thing amusing. It's lent itself to some really good memes lately, which I am finding very amusing. I don't know what the hell is going to happen September 20th, but if I honestly, if I had some extra time, it'd be worth going with a video camera and just sitting there, literally pulling up to the fence in your truck, putting the tailgate down, putting some chairs in the back with an ice chest, and just watching the show.
Exactly. That, and honestly, I would probably do that. I would set up like 2 tripods with video cameras and just let them roll, and then just change out the discs, you know, or the SD cards or whatnot, and just change them out and watch it later on and do like the best of.
Yeah, like I laugh.
Alien invasion.
Yeah, because people are like, they can't stop us. You know, there's 700,000 of us or something, and I'm like, it's the U.S. military. They can stop 700,000 people. Trust me, you're not going to like how they stop you, but they can stop you if they want to. And I think they're starting to take this threat serious from what I read, so it's kind of crazy.
Well, it's a thing. It's just, I don't know. That's why I put them all up. I was like, I don't understand. The aliens are super friendly. I had a drink with one. And it's like, no joke, I've actually been to Roswell before just because on my way home from Trail to Steam, I was like, you know what? I might as well try this. I'm going to check it out, see what's going on. You know, I'm already there. So I did it. And that's where a lot of those photos came from. And it was just funny and awesome. And the thing is you can't knock anybody for really like doing it. Like, I believe in aliens. I don't know if you do, Jim, but I honestly believe in aliens and like some weird things, because you can't prove to me that they don't exist. And I'm not kidding you. Last year in Bark River, I was sitting outside at the pits for one of the Midwest short course races, and I swear, and I'm not kidding you, that I thought I saw a UFO. I'm not joking. I've told 3 people the story. Did I tell you that story when we were
No,
there?
I haven't heard this. This is solid gold radio. We're not talking motorsports. We're talking aliens today. Go for it.
No, I'm not kidding you. I was sitting in a car in the pits at night. I was waiting for everybody to get done, waiting for like Amanda or something. And I look out and I swear I thought I saw a UFO. And in the UP, it could be possible, okay? It's really dark. There's not a lot of light. I think I just lost you 100 listeners, Jim.
No, I honestly, truth is, I believe in aliens. I think anybody who I'm into science. Not like geeky science, but I do read a lot on science. Like the universe is so ridiculously big for us to think that there's not something. And I don't mean living like as in like humans walking around, but if we're idiots if we don't think that somewhere on some planet, billions of light years away, there isn't some kind of living organism. That's like we're idiots to think about that. To me, that's technically an alien. Are they going to invade us or something? I don't know. They may have more advanced technology than us. We don't know. But like, I do think there's something living out there other than humans on this planet. We'd be fools to think there's not something living somewhere in the universe. So, that's kind of my take on it.
Well, yeah, and we'd be kind of fools to not think that we haven't already been, that there couldn't be some type of different human or alien life form already on the planet. I mean, there's a lot of weird people out there. It would explain a lot, Jim, if they were aliens. I'd be like, oh, this makes perfect sense now.
It would make total sense. I get it. I'm feeling you there, Tiff. Like It would explain a lot of people I know. Let's put it that way. I can't say no, but I've met. I think it would explain a lot. They'd be like, "Oh, they're an alien." I'm like, "Oh, I get it now. Totally understand." Yes.
Exactly, and then you just brush it all off. And I wish aliens could come on planet Earth. And the thing is technology is so crazy, and especially military technology. Like going back to them wanting to storm Area 51, military technology has been around and so advanced and so technologically well above my pay grade or head or any of that. But those people that want to go, you really don't think, Area 51 has been hidden for so long. First, they got to find it. Do they even really know where it is? And second of all, like you said, are they really going to be able to infiltrate this and not get harmed by the U.S. military?
Yeah, I've always felt like Area 51 is a sham. I think there's an Area 52 or 53. Like, I think there's a super secret military base with all these top secret whatever they're keeping somewhere. I don't think it's Area 51. I think Area 51 is a scapegoat. I think they've put out so much like, oh, Area 51's top secret. Yes, there's military there. I don't think there's anything actually secret at Area 51. I think it's someplace that we have absolutely no idea that even exists. Like, I think we have some super secret military base, and I think they want people to think it's Area 51 because nothing's actually really there.
Yes, I do agree with you on that, and I honestly believe that it's under the Denver airport. Have you seen the murals in the Denver airport? And did you know about all the tunnels that are underneath there, too? Seriously, Jim, we could talk about a whole conspiracy because that is my wheelhouse. Like, I love Obscura. I love weird conspiracies because if you think that you know everything and if you take whatever it said for face value, then you've already lost. People need to start asking questions.
That's going to be our new podcast. We are going to do one totally Jim and Tiff's conspiracy theories or something like that. Literally every week we'll just talk about something completely random and we'll rant on it for like an hour. And the thing will probably be more successful than anything we've ever done before.
Because people will be like, I thought about that too, because honestly, if you Google about the Denver airport, there's some weird murals, some like Hellenic, devilish type things in there for the murals. And then there's tons and tons of tunnels that I heard. And honestly, I bet you any money, Jim, it's probably like stuck at like quote unquote Area 51 is literally probably somewhere in the Appalachian Mountains, hidden, like where you said that we have no idea that it even exists. And Area 51 is probably the scapegoat because if it's that secretive, why does everybody know about it?
Yeah, honestly, Area 51, I don't feel like is that, is that guarded. You know what I mean? It's not like you've driven by there. I've driven by there plenty of times. It's like I don't feel like it's that guarded. It's even like Fort Knox. I've always questioned Fort Knox. Do we have a bunch of gold somewhere? Yeah, it's not in Fort Knox. Why would you advertise, hey, all our gold's here? You know, somebody invades a country, they go to Fort Knox. You know, like, we've got it hidden somewhere, right? There's probably a basement in the White House with, like, literally, you know, hundreds of billions of dollars in gold bars or something. You know, like, I don't know, but I don't think it's at Fort Knox. I think the government puts these things out there, and they want people to think that's where the top secret stuff is, and in reality, it's hidden in plain sight.
Exactly. Honestly, my conspiracy theory about the gold and all the Fort Knox stuff is that it's hidden behind Mount Rushmore.
Right? There actually is. There's a story about, like, Mount Rushmore. I think there actually is in one of the heads, and this isn't like some Richie Rich. You remember that movie Richie Rich, where they actually have like their super secret safe in the family Mount Rushmore? But no, like, I heard there was at some point. I think there's actually, like, you can walk in the back of Mount Rushmore. Like, I think it's behind one of the ears or something like that. There's a legit, like, a room back there.
Wow, that's amazing.
No, look it up.
So,
It's like there's a basketball court in the top of the Matterhorn at Disneyland, right? I'm just saying, there's all this cool stuff out there.
There is?
Yes. Look that. I will send you pictures on that. There's a legit basketball court in the top of the Matterhorn at Disneyland.
All right.
So.
Wow, look at all this stuff that we have to do. All these. Next time we're going to do that. We're going to think of a completely awesome conspiracy theory show, or at least one episode.
That'll be our winter project this year, because you and I are too damn busy right now to do something else. But we'll do like our wintertime podcast when we don't have any motorsports events or something like that. And you and I are gonna, like, weekly. We're gonna get, like. We'll do it in a series, like, there. You know how Netflix is, like, people who do these series and it's like binge watch. You know, they put 20 episodes out, and then the next year they do 20 episodes all dropped at once. You and I this winter we'll do like a 12 episode or 15 episode conspiracy theories, and we'll just drop them all at once. It'll be like bingeable. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we need to do.
That's what we should, and we should ask people on, like, their conspiracy theories or what they've heard of too, and then collect them all and go from there. Yes, we got that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So no, and I'm dead serious about this. Like, I'm dead serious about it. We are going to do it. It's going to happen. I actually, I'm going to email Podcast One, and they'll be like, "What the actual?" Beep, because I can't say it because it's a national show, but they'll be like, "What are you talking about, Jimmy?" Yes, we want in. That's what the answer is going to be. So, that's done, T-Stone. We got to start thinking about our conspiracy theories. Meanwhile, this 14-minute segment, you are at New England Forest Rally. I guess we'll talk about the rally next week on the show, because we spent the whole time talking about aliens and conspiracy theories. So, I guess we'll follow up next week with how things go at the rally, Tiff.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. It's going to be, a great race. We're at Sunday River. It's a Friday-Saturday race, and honestly, it's Molly Ockett as well, plus the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. So this area out here in Bethel right now is just going to be insane. Yeah,
I will say, New England Forest Rally, Saturday night after the rally, has one of the most epic parties of the year there at one of the resorts. Like, it's crazy off-the-chain party. So wild stuff does happen, and usually it's like one of those what happens at Sunday, or what happens at New England Forest Rally stays there. But I'm telling you, you bring your party pants for Saturday night, Tiff.
Awesome. I will definitely do that, and my party hat.
And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Just done with some shenanigans with Tiffany Stone. Well, that blew a segment, didn't it, right? But yeah, so yeah, I guess we're wrapping things up here. What another show. Christopher Polvoorde, Power Rankings, Off-Road Hall of Fame, Aliens with Tiffany Stone. You never know where things are going to go, but definitely don't miss out on any of the fun. Go over to iTunes, hit the subscribe button to the Down and Dirty Radio Show. You'll also get the Full Wheel Parts Off-Road Edition podcast. Make sure and check out Project Action on Podcast One. Vicky Golden this week. Last week it was Jason Ellis. Both rock-solid interviews that I don't think you guys want to miss. But yeah, thank you guys for the continued support. I'm at Jim Beaver 15 on social media, and you can also check us out downanddirtyshow.com. We got all kinds of written content. We are cranking out the motorsports news and results each and every day and week. So stories and everything else. So make sure and check us out. Before we go, got to tell you about a couple of our amazing partners here: Polaris RZR, General Tire, 4-Wheel Parts, My Medic. Use that coupon code Jim Beaver. Dirtfish, it's JB Dirtfish for 15% off. Vision Wheel, Gibson Exhaust. Also got to thank our good friends there at iRacing, as well as Super ATV. And make sure and check out BattleBox. It's BattleBox, try BattleBox.com/Beaver, and that will get you a free tactical knife. Check it out. Links are up on the website as well. And make sure and tell them Jim Beaver sent you. Hopefully you guys have a great week, and we'll be back with more next week right here on your favorite Action Motorsports radio show, the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.